The 10 plagues that struck Egypt in the biblical narrative of Exodus are a series of calamities that God inflicted upon Egypt to persuade Pharaoh to release the Israelites from slavery. Each plague was a challenge to the Egyptian gods and Pharaoh's authority, demonstrating the power of the God of Israel. Here's a list and explanation of each plague. Water turned to blood, Exodus 7:14-24. The Nile River, a vital source of life for Egyptians, was turned into blood. This rendered the water undrinkable and killed the fish, severely disrupting daily life in the Egyptian economy. This plague challenged the Egyptian god Hapi, the god of the Nile. Frogs, Exodus 8:1-15. This plague inundated Egypt with frogs that came from the river. They invaded homes and disrupted daily life. Frogs were sacred in Egyptian culture, and this plague was a challenge to the goddess Heket, who was depicted with a frog's head and was a symbol of fertility. Lice or gnats, Exodus 8:16-19. Dust became lice or gnats, infesting humans and animals. This plague demonstrated God's power over the earth itself and possibly targeted the Egyptian god Geb, the god of the earth. Swarms of flies, Exodus 8:20-32. This plague involved a dense swarm of flies that devastated Egypt, but notably the land of Goshen, where the Israelites lived, was spared. This distinction showed Israel's protection by their God, and may have been a challenge to Khepri, the god associated with the movement of the sun and creation, often depicted as a scarab beetle. Livestock diseased, Exodus 9:1-7. A severe pestilence killed Egyptian livestock, but spared the Israelites' animals. This plague targeted the Egyptian economy and possibly the goddess Hathor, who was often depicted as a cow and was associated with livestock. Boils, Exodus 9:8-12. Ashes turned into boils that broke out on humans and animals. This painful affliction showed God's power to inflict suffering directly upon the people and challenged Egyptian gods associated with health and healing, like Sekhmet or Imhotep. Hail, Exodus 9:13-35. A destructive hailstorm, combined with fire, devastated the land, killing people, animals, and crops. This was a direct affront to Nut, the sky goddess, and to Isis and Seth, who were associated with agriculture. Locusts, Exodus 10:1-20. A massive swarm of locusts devoured all the crops and greenery left after the hail. This was a catastrophic blow to the Egyptian food supply and a challenge to Osiris, the god of vegetation and fertility. Darkness, Exodus 10:21-29. A profound darkness enveloped Egypt for 3 days, a direct challenge to Ra, the sun god, and one of the most important Egyptian deities. This showed God's power over the sun itself. Death of the firstborn, Exodus 11:1-12-36. The final and most severe plague was the death of all firstborn in Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh to the firstborn of the livestock. This plague, which spared the Israelites who marked their homes with lamb's blood, directly challenged Pharaoh's supposed divinity and was the culmination of God's judgment on Egypt. Hope in times of trial. Even as the plagues were a time of great trial for the Israelites, they were also a time of hope, leading up to their deliverance. Christians are reminded that, in times of trial, there is always hope in God's future deliverance and restoration. Through the narrative of the 10 plagues, Christians are motivated to deepen their faith, live out their values, and remember the powerful ways in which God has acted in history to bring about justice, deliverance, and salvation. If you find this video helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more motivational videos. Your support means a lot to us.